Bonjour, je suis Caroline Green et vous êtes sur le podcast Les états du corps, pour parler du corps dans tous ses états, ses mouvements, ses temps, ses transformations, ses voies et ressentis. Je vous présente aujourd'hui un échange un peu particulier. Il s'agit d'une interview qui a eu lieu l'été dernier à Bali, alors que je séjournais dans une école de yoga indienne. Haripriya, que vous allez découvrir et entendre, l'une des fondatrices et headmaster de la World Peace Yoga School, a bien voulu enregistrer avec moi cet échange qui est en anglais. L'enregistrement ayant eu lieu sur mon téléphone et dans un lieu de yoga ouvert sur l'extérieur, je n'étais pas du tout certaine de la qualité. Et en effet, les sons alentours, que j'espérais dépaysants et exotiques, comme le vent, des cris d'oiseaux, de la musique ou même des voix, se sont révélés vraiment trop présents. Mais alors que j'allais renoncer à exploiter ce matériel, une solution a été trouvée, grâce à Alexandre, avec une technique IA pour cleaner l'audio. Néanmoins, je préfère vous prévenir, cet échange n'est pas toujours facile à écouter. Il est long, en anglais, entre une indienne élevée à Londres et une française with a very French accent. Et je l'admets, j'ai aussi un peu trop souvent interrompu Haripriya, qui avait tendance à ne jamais répondre à mes questions. Mais j'ai tout de même décidé de vous le partager car nous abordons entre autres un sujet sur lequel j'ai eu beaucoup de questions, la nuit noire de l'âme, et c'est un sujet qui a résonné très fort pour moi cet hiver. J'espère que cela vous plaira, soyez indulgents sur la qualité du son et le niveau d'anglais. Bonne écoute. Hello, welcome on the podcast Body Voices to explore all the state of body and mind. It's about the sensation, the feelings, the transformation over time, awareness, body voices and body cycles. When I was 6 years old, a doctor recommended my mother to put me to classical dance, as I had an important scoliosis with a spine with 13 dorsal vertebrae instead of 12. Thank you, vertebra. Classical, then contemporary dance, music, dancer, dance teacher, the stage, soon became my new family, and I thought I learned everything about life here. Later on, yoga, meditation opened new doors for me. If our Western culture tends to separate the body and the mind, even to oppose them, I really believe that they are fundamentally integrated, as in Asia. After all, the head, the heart, is also part of the body. Why dissociate them? So let's have off to discover the state of body like a journey with guests with multiple bodies. Today, I'm very happy to have Haripriya on the mic. Haripriya is a yoga kundalini teacher, also a Reiki practitioner from India, who I met in Bali. Hariom, Haripriya.
Hariom, namaste.
Namaste. Can you please explain us your path to yoga?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you meet and how it became so important in your life?
Okay. Let's begin first with one Om and the Guru mantra. Take a deep inhale. Om. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
When we talk about life is a blessing. And my journey to yoga, my parents are of Indian heritage, born and raised in India, and they moved to the UK for a better life. They didn't know each other in India. They were introduced through an arranged marriage in the UK. And, they get married, and then a year or so later, I come along. So I was born and raised in the UK. And my connection to my ancestral land has always been there. I don't think it's a journey to yoga. I think yoga is within all of us, but we don't see it because we live in this world of illusion. We live in this world of trying to be what everybody else wants us to be. So growing up, we have everything. You know, my parents worked hard. They had their challenges in their relationship and their challenges in parenting because of the culture, because of expectations, because of what they were feeling. So we go on a journey through life, and I've probably always been a little different, but never really understood why. Because spirituality wasn't in my home, although my parents were Indian. You know, they were not religious in any way, shape or form. They, you know, embraced on the outside the Western culture of the 70s and the 80s. But internally in the home, could be a very different environment. So we grew up with almost two lives, trying to fit in here, but also trying to maintain the cultures and the traditions at home, through living through extended families and so forth, which was very natural. And my parents worked extremely hard. You know, we very rarely saw them. Grandparents raised us. And as you go through life, as you go through your work, the lessons that we need to learn, and to take yoga to where it's coming into my life isn't for everybody. It's not an easy journey. And the more spiritual you become, the harder that journey becomes, the more painful that journey becomes. Because we're constantly trying to get back to our innate truth of who we are. And you mentioned quite eloquently, you know, that this body, this mind, this heart is a part of who we are. So why do we disassociate from it? We don't actually disassociate from it. It's always there. The self is always within the self. It's like they say, the truth is always in front of us, but we're afraid to see it. And in the modern Western world, what happens is that we're very much guided by our senses. We're guided by what we see. We're guided by what we hear, by what we smell, by what we feel, by what we taste. And when we look at it from that perspective, our experiences also dictate how we take that journey. And for many people, it's not yoga that they're looking for, it's exercise that they're looking for. They want to get fit and healthy, and it's the start of yoga. But yoga is innately within us. We're breathing. That is yoga. The fact that we're breathing, that we're inhaling and exhaling, that is yoga. But we're not connected to it. We're not aware of what that breath is. As soon as we start to become aware of what that breath is, what is this breath? What is this doing for me? Then we can start to really unravel where this is taking me.
And if I may comment, is it also a link? Maybe it's too simple, but to say, okay, there is the external world and there is the internal world, like looking inward, and like kind of yoga is leading you to look inward a little bit more?
It's not about going inwards or outwards because they both are connected. It's actually, it's called Svadhyaya. It's chapter 2 of Yoga Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And it says that we need to understand the self. So it's not about going inwards. It's about what this self is doing in the outside world. Because the inner world, the real reality and the truth of who we are actually never changes. And if we look back and we go back to childhood or we go back to birth, when a baby is first born, it's pure. We are still that purity today, but we just don't see it because everything on the outside has impacted what we think, the things that we put into our mind. You know, people say it's about connecting the mind and the body. Well, they're not separate. They're right here. Right now. But we choose to either live in the past or we choose to live in the
Future.
The future, we don't understand what this now means, because what this now means is if I'm in this now, I have to be totally focused and totally present in what's happening. I have to be connected with myself. And, you know, so I had a lot of lessons in growing up in the modern world, and I needed those lessons. I needed to learn those lessons. You know, I was very much always on the periphery. You know, things wouldn't bother me like they bother people. I wouldn't have those, you know, I've got to be crazy, or I've got to be like this, or I've got to be so involved in this. You know, half of the time I never had an opinion on anything. I'd be like, okay, if you're happy doing what you're doing, keep doing it.
Yeah. You were already a little bit detached?
Not necessarily detached, because we can't detach from anything either in the world. We're completely attached to everything. Are we attached to our breath? We are. Are we attached to this body? Yes, we are. Are we attached to everything that we do with these external senses outside? Absolutely we are. So to say I'm detached from it is actually really difficult. What I would say is I'm not attached to it.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, I see the point.
Okay? I'm not detached from it because it's a part of me. Just like all of my memories, all of my journeys, all of my cycles, they're a part of me. I can't detach from them. Because they've made me who I am today, but they don't own me. I'm not them.
Perfect, yeah.
You know, it's like having, you know, and I say it a lot, it's like having a cup of coffee. And I see people all the time, oh my God, I can't live without my coffee. And they're getting the jitters, and it's going to help me wake up. And if I don't have the coffee, I'm not awake. And they'll walk miles for a coffee. Actually, that coffee owns them.
Sure. Yeah. It's an addiction.
It's an addiction.
But
that
if you can control
them. If you enjoy coffee, go have a coffee. But it shouldn't matter if it's there or not.
Oh, exactly.
Because the coffee isn't keeping you awake. The coffee has become an attachment, almost like a control to be able to justify what we're doing. And that can be sometimes really challenging to understand. We allow the smallest of things to become so attached to us that we can't live without them. So how then do we ripple into the bigger things? How do we then start to let go of these bigger things that we're containing inside of us, actually that we're so afraid to, I don't like the word let go of, because we never let go of anything. How do we release the control that it has over us?
Yeah,
that's the journey of realizing the self. It's the journey of, why am I reacting the way that I'm reacting? Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? And 9 times out of 10, it brings you always back to this question. The destruction of the I-ness. Like, I have to let this I go, because it's always about the I. Whenever you do something, it's about the I. Whenever you're asking for something, it's about the I.
Sure.
Whenever you give love, it's because you want love in return. So we already start to subconsciously make attachments. We start to put expectations. We start to put conditions on. That freedom starts to go suppression.
Yeah. And you learn really early on kind of strategies to survive, whether it's like, as you said, to get food or to get attention or to get love. Whether, like, to my point of view, if I use a metaphor, it's like much more if you need to clean your room, like, you know, moving the space and like adding more space. Actually, we think sometimes meditation is about reaching nothing, but it's much more of like observing and letting go.
Meditation is a journey to get to the real inner self. Because it's the time that we can truly connect to the self. But what happens during meditation is that people try to meditate.
Yeah, exactly. They try too hard, actually. Yeah.
Meditation actually isn't a doing. Meditation is a state of being. And so when you talk about this internal world and external world, it's actually keeping that state of being irrespective of what's happening on the outside. So yogis on my path, for example, you know, there's very few people that will take the journey that I've taken. And it's not a journey that I thought would ever be my journey. It's not something that I thought, yes, I've got to ask for this, I need this, or I need this. The doors opened and I stepped through without fear, because I was also aware that these doors were opening, but I have to step through. You know, that's my karma to make.
Yeah.
It's not something that's following me from 10,000 years ago. It's my karma to step through that door and do that doing. If it's opened, if it closes, it's because I've closed that door.
Yeah.
And you don't actually
You take responsibility.
you don't actually need to ask the universe for everything. It will continue to do and give you the lessons that you learn. So, you know, growing up in the UK, you know, I lived 2 lives. Well, you could pretty much say 3 lives. The school life and the external world, Western world, the home life, and then my dad had his businesses, so we were also there. So I grew up where I saw a very eclectic mix of people.
Interesting.
It wasn't just that I was, you know, guided down, this is middle class, so these are the people you associate with, and that is it. You know, my school life was very middle upper class. My parents were middle class in that time, you know, working very hard. And where my dad's businesses were, it was poverty. So I learned from a young age how to speak to many, many different types of people and how to gauge, because emotional intelligence is something that's becoming much more suppressed. People don't have a lot of emotional intelligence. And they don't have emotional intelligence because they never actually think about the person in front of them. They're always thinking about themselves.
Sure.
My nature has always been to think about others. And, you know, when I grew up, many people would say, oh, she's a people pleaser. Or, you know, how can she say yes to all of this? My capacity has always been very big from a giving perspective.
Okay.
Not for wanting anything in return. I've always been like that. I've never changed innately who I am inside. Yes, I've done stupid things. You know, we all do. These are lessons. Yes, I've done some crazy things. You know, I've gone out and partied until 6 o'clock in the morning and, you know, taken alcohol, smoked. I've done it, a lot of it. You know, I've lived life. So it's not that I'm talking from a place of never having experienced life. I'm not talking from a place of never having money or not having everything.
But maybe also you need to have this like life experience at some point. Maybe you said like the doors are open or like yoga came to you or was always there.
I think yoga was always innately within me, just not from the exercise perspective.
Yeah.
But it was the exercise perspective that took me into it, you know.
That's
fully.
interesting, yeah.
So it was the yoga asanas. So from a spiritual perspective, I think I've always had spirituality inside of me.
Yeah.
Because that was the giving part of me. You know, people would say people pleasing. And I used to say to people, it's not about pleasing people. If I can make somebody's journey that little bit easier and I have the capacity to do it, why would I not do it?
Yeah, sure. And especially if it's your core.
Why would I not do it?
If it's your nature, it's even more authentic.
Absolutely. Because I never wanted anything in return. You know, it wasn't because I'm doing this because I want you to do exactly the same back for me, which is how many people actually live.
Yeah. And that's, because we compare.
Because we're always comparing.
Yeah.
You know, did we have challenges in my childhood? Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to obviously speak about them in the podcast or anything, you know, and did I have challenges during my marriage? And absolutely we did. We're human at the end of the day. But at the same time, there's a different understanding which people never want to take because we're so fixated that we have to be like this.
Sure.
That we never want to make the mind flexible.
Yeah, definitely this is something that I question a lot about being conditioned by the society, the family, the place you are born, actually.
We can't change any of that.
Of course, but you can think about that and like, you know, take a step back and maybe sometimes really decide to change your life. I like when you say, I have had like maybe 3 lives. I'm really thinking that I am having maybe my second life, but this one will be a lot more with awareness, let's say. Or at least you make your choices on your own. And this thing is like sometimes maybe, you know, it comes by surprise or it comes thanks to asana, it comes thanks to you meet someone or you have like, you know, maybe some people, they have like even downloaded things in their mind, whether it's the experience, but which for you is interesting is like you told me you have like, you began by the asanas, but now today you are really like working in that space. So if yoga means union of body, mind and soul, how do you consider energy today And how do you take care of yours? Because you are taking care of so many people.
We are energy. We just don't see it. If we talk about Shakti, we talk about Kundalini, we talk about Prana, Ki, all of this whole universe is that. If we didn't have it inside of us, we wouldn't be alive today.
Sure.
It's very much alive. It's very much there. The problem is that we're too blinded by the lights, we don't see it. We're so blinded by everything else that we don't see that what potential that we have within us. Because we also live lives very much guided by other people's perceptions of us. And we become those perceptions. So when we talk about different groups of friends, you know, I was always a person that would want to introduce all of my circle of friends. I never cared if they were from here, there, wherever. I would want to bring them all together. But yet I also had friends that would separate out. Because there would be one person here, there would be another person here, there would be another person there, which talks about self-esteem issues. And, you know, so there's this...
And the alignment also. Yeah.
The topics are so huge that it's trying to bring them into something succinct so that people can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right, because like sometimes we need to, you know, fragment a little bit the complexity.
Absolutely.
But yes, that's for me, because I also observe you this week and you are taking care about a lot of people. And you said like maybe it's not your own energy, you are like a medium, a vehicle to that energy, but for you, you're taking care of your own energy. It's like, do you have a routine?
The universe takes care of my energy.
Oh, wow,
if I am
cool.
a child of this universe, like we all are, one thing that we've got to realize is that this body is the earth. It comes from this earth, we come back to the earth. That's all it is. We have to realize that. People think they've got a big house. That house is made up of this very same earth. You know, we talk about the mind. The mind doesn't go anywhere. The mind actually doesn't do anything. The mind controls the movements of our body. It tells us blinking. It tells us how to protect ourselves. It tells us this arm should now go up here. We don't know how to control that mind because we allow the thoughts to circulate. And, you know, many people say, oh, I'm this big healer, I'm this. I'm not a healer. I'll tell you something, I'm not a healer, I'm just a vessel. That's all I am.
Okay.
And whatever comes through is through the grace of this universe. Because this is the universe that gives me my breath every single day. And it can take it away whenever it chooses to.
Very interesting.
And from that perspective, when we look at energy, people use their own thought process to decipher whether it's good or bad.
Maybe you don't have to judge if it's good or bad.
You don't judge it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Sure.
You know, so people who say, my Kundalini is awakened, but actually that person was really awful over there, I don't like them. Trust me, their Kundalini not awakened, because this energy will play, this energy attunes you to the frequency of the universe. It attunes you to what it's here to do, which is to give life, to give love, to give support, to give companionship, to give union. We're not creatures that are meant to be isolated.
I agree. And yeah, it's also in my values, like to search for harmony and not separation. Maybe
But search it in the inside.
Yeah.
Why are we searching it on the outside? Because the outside is very fickle. You know, the outside will change in a second. We don't know which way that wind is blowing. So that harmony doesn't come from anything on the outside. And the biggest problem that people have is that they want everything yesterday. They're not prepared to put in effort.
Yeah, they are not patient.
You know, our gurus, our rishis, our sages, our saints, they practiced for many, many years, maybe even lifetimes of years to get to this level. The messiahs, when we look at Jesus, when we look at Muhammad, they didn't just get it through instant gratification. They got it through practice. They got it through meditating. They got it through building discipline. They got it through building commitment because they knew there were more to life. So when Jesus says that I am the Son of God, People didn't want to believe him and said, you prove it. Otherwise we will crucify you. Prove that you're the Son of God. Come back to life then. That's not what he meant.
Yeah, of course, I understand.
What he meant is that this universe has created me. So I am a child of this universe, just as you are, just as everybody else is. And people didn't get that.
Yeah, sure, because like they need to reach another level, actually. So in your learning process of Kundalini, did you had any breakthrough or any momentum you would like to share? Also, just to let you know, I want to know if you already experienced a dark night of soul. Because I have so many questions about that. So if yes, and if you want to share, can you explain a little bit?
So what I would say is somebody's energy will tell you where they are.
Oh, wow. You can read like the level of Kundalini?
No, somebody's energy will tell you whether they are there or they are not there.
Right.
Because they will glide through life and nothing will faze them. Whether my energy is awakened or not, I'm still in my practice. One day, God willing, that will occur. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But one thing that I am is that's not my motivation. You know, my sadhana practice, my own practice is very much guided by coming into the true nature of who I am and seeing the divinity of this universe inside of me. And that's my commitment and my passion and my drive and my discipline to take me to that level. So, you know, from that perspective, every single human being will have ego.
Yeah, I see your
whether
point.
it's good ego or whether it's bad ego is the question.
Yeah.
So yogis will have ego. Even the yogi that goes and, you know, renounces everything, goes into vairag and chucks everything away and goes and sits in a cave. Even he has ego, but they'll say that's good ego because he's getting or wants to get to a state of enlightenment or awakening, whatever you want to call it. But it's a journey and it's not instant.
True.
For people that get instant, they will get it wherever their thought process is at that time. And this is where humans are now going so wrong because they're still not seeing. They've actually made it from this into this.
Yeah,
and it's not that.
Yeah, and actually maybe it's not even a destination. It's just the journey.
The journey.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
life.
Yeah.
The whole experience of everything is the experience of life. And seeing that divinity inside of us and maintaining that from all perspectives. What do they call dark night of the soul? Dark night of the soul is a point that will take you and break you. It's your breaking point. And does it occur? Yes, it occurs to many people. It occurs to many people. It's just another name and a tag that they've given people. You know, we can all go through trauma and we can all go through severe pain and intensity where, you know, we don't know what's happening. We don't know where we're coming from. Why is this being like this? What is it? Because it's a journey and a process of shedding. It's to bring you to who you are and to go into that darkness, to go into finding and understanding and feeling is the dark night of the soul.
Fair enough. Yes. So, yeah.
You know, it's a point to say, I've actually hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
It's not depression, but actually I've hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
I don't know where the hell I am.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know where this is coming from, what it is. And you automatically start to try do different things. And it starts to bring you into path of spirituality and yoga to try get those answers. Like, what was this? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
You know, why am I feeling like I've come into this dark night of the soul? People look for the dark night of the soul. They have a relationship breakdown and they think they've got the dark night of the soul. Dark night of the soul means actually it will take everything that you've ever known, believed, thought was right condition, and it will say, I'm taking it all away from you.
Yeah,
I'm taking it all away from you. If it's not taken away, it's going to push you into that route that you end up doing it yourself.
Yeah, sure. And too easy to get back to that, like... Yeah,
absolutely. Which is why sometimes people cycle in it.
Sure.
You know, they're continuously cycling in it.
And repeating.
And repeating because they're not going on their healing. They're not prepared to heal the self. So the dark night of the soul is actually trying to make your mind flexible. He's trying to say, listen, wake up. Wake up. Somebody once said to me a while back, when I meditate, I'm already connected to the higher self. And so what's the point? Why, when I'm already connected to this higher self, what is the point?
Why continue?
Why am I going to come back here to this land? I'm already connected to the higher self. Let me tell you, there is no higher self. That is ego speaking. There is the true self. You will connect to the true self. The true self is a part of this universe. Whoever you're talking to up there is you.
Yeah, actually, it's a little bit like, of course, it's my point of view.
Yeah, and these are opinions.
Yeah, it's like you need to accept that you incarnate. You see, that's the point actually, because we all want to escape at some point,
but we're all going to die.
Exactly.
So this is a journey to death.
Yeah, play the game.
This is a journey to death. This is God's playground or the universal playground, dependent on what you believe in. How we choose to play in this universe or in this playground, this creation of Shakti is down to us. Yeah. And we've got to start taking accountability. And this is the challenge. And anyway, so this person's saying, well, why do I need to come? I said, to come here is so that we can share these experiences. We can share this knowledge. We can share this guidance. We can support others that are on this journey, the others that need to find who they truly are. And, my job isn't to spread love and light. There's plenty of it. I say all the time, there's plenty of it. Why do I need to spread love and light?
Yeah, because
I want you to see your light inside of you.
Yeah,
so I'm not here to be all nice and kind. This is what people think. Yoga's meant to be really loving and it's meant to tell me exactly what I want to hear. No, it isn't.
No.
The journey is that we will try and push, prod and poke you until you see you. You see your light. The times and changes of, where people want to grab hold of something, an idol. They idolize. They make people and things idol. That's not good.
Yeah, because
that's one attachment going to another attachment.
And again, it's like maybe also not really accepting to take responsibility. Because it's easier like to put responsibility on someone else.
Absolutely.
But at some point, that's right, that I like when you say it's just about choosing, but in real awareness. Firstly, what role do you want to play? And actually, usually a lot of people are complaining because I'm from this family and I had to do that. But no, actually, if you really want and you really want to put the effort, you can really choose the role you're playing.
Absolutely. And it's not about choosing the role. The role is already there. We just don't see that role. And we can blame as much as we want to. Which is why most people live in the animalistic world. For them, ignorance is bliss. It's bliss because they don't have to take accountability for who they are.
And maybe that's less suffering also.
And it's less of a risk. And, some of the challenges is when we're children, we don't have control. We're guided.
Yeah.
We have no control, but as an adult, you do.
Sure.
As an adult, you do. So when we talk about, this reliance, the purpose of gurus was to remove the veil, is to lift up that shutter so that an individual can see their own light, that they can start to live in this world in the right way, which is what? Oneness.
Yeah, that's really powerful because, as I told you, I'm really in my midlife moment. And I started to feel, everything that I build is really shallow and like not that important.
It isn't.
It isn't. But like, it's only now that I feel like life has been like not about really myself or other, but now I really want to serve just like, as you said, I would like to stay up there, but if I can't, and I don't want to exit that life for many reasons that I have a daughter and so on, I just want to serve. So like, I am but you take me and use me as a servant.
You can serve in any capacity.
Exactly.
And you could be working in a bank and serving, as long as you're doing it with devotion.
Yeah, this is the way you do things that counts.
It's the way you're doing it, because we still need people to work.
Sure.
We still need to earn money. We still need to put food on the table. We still want to have this journey of life.
Yeah.
in relationship or having children and having a family and raising a family. You know, we have to do all of that. But how you do it is the big key difference. There is no reason or any value if you don't do what you do wholly and fully.
Yeah.
So do we need somebody to make bread? Yes, we do. Do we need somebody to work in the bank? Yes, we do. But why can we not do that with actually sincerity, as opposed to it being an expectation? I'm only doing this because it's putting the money on my table.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it is. So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
So actually it's encouraging people to find their true assignment. Because you said it's have already been there. Do you think like your mission or your assignment to serve and to help people in yoga was already there since you were a child?
More than likely, yeah.
Wow.
Because when I was younger, I would always say to my parents, one day I'm going to move to India and teach. But I used to say, when I retire, I will go teach English to children in India. And they used to laugh because I loved the UK.
Yeah.
I didn't hate where I am, you know, so please don't think I was running from anything. I made sure my karmas were put in place. You can't run from something to something and expect there to be freedom.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. And it was really funny because I think the universe had other plans for me already. I already knew that I would one day want to do this. Not this yoga, but to be in India teaching. I just never expected it to be in this way. When I practiced yoga initially in all of my modalities, etc., you know, it was very much, just to feel good. It was like the fad thing to do. It was the new thing to do.
Okay.
And there you go. It takes full circle and takes me to where it needs me to be. But if I was still in the UK and I was still doing my banking job, I loved my job. I absolutely loved my job. I could do it upside down, standing on my head. This is what I'm saying. I never run from anything.
Yeah, but it was like the past was like maybe already like
it was already there.
What you had to
I needed to go through the lessons to bring me to where I am today.
Yeah.
If I didn't have them, I wouldn't be here. And you know, this is the sad thing about life. People are always running from something. I don't like this country. I don't like that. Well, to be honest with you, the same challenges are in every single place in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're challenged here, you will be challenged there. If you cannot find happiness within yourself here, you won't find it there, because when you come on these journeys, you're leaving your day-to-day activities of reality behind.
Yeah.
And then the challenge becomes, well, actually, how do I integrate all of this into the life here?
Yeah, totally.
You've got to find that mix.
That's a lesson of the mat, actually.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, to experience things on the mat and to experience things outside the mat.
The biggest journey is people want to just have everything and experience, but actually they need the discipline of their own self-practice. And people don't want to wake up. You know, we say to people, wake up 5 o'clock for sadhana, do your sadhana. It's really hard for them. But they want everything else, but yet actually they're not prepared to commit to themselves. If I said to somebody tomorrow, I will give you $1 million to wake up for 365 days, I'll tell you what, every single person I give that $1 million to would wake up every morning on time without a complaint. So actually, we don't actually value who we are. We don't value the self.
And that's a very good point, to begin by respect yourself and to commit to yourself. That's a good point for the discipline of yoga.
It is.
Yeah,
it's a commitment to the self. That's what sadhana is. That's what yoga is. It's a commitment first and foremost to the self, to understand the self, to understand the nature of the self. Then you can start to understand what's happening outside. If we don't make time for that self-study, that self-connection, that practice is just practice.
Good point.
It's like going to, I'll tell you exactly what yoga is. We like the word yoga, so we go to a yoga class. It can be go yoga, be a yoga, whatever fad fun they want to make it to be. But you think of Jane Fonda in the 1980s. She was doing yoga moves. But because it was called exercise, people don't want to do exercise. You've got things like P90X or PX90, which uses body, like push-ups and planks and everything. They are all yogic moves that we learn in asana. But you tell somebody to do that, they don't want to do it.
Yeah, it's like the importance of the words. And also, finally, the motivation and the intention.
Motivation will always change. One day you have motivation, next day you don't have motivation. Motivation not going to take you anywhere. discipline will take you everywhere.
So you are taking care of a lot of people during the yoga teacher trainings, and I guess all the time. People coming to you for help, a lot of listening, therapy, Reiki. Do you think you can maybe find a few common problems that you see in the world because so many people speak to you? Like maybe this discipline thing is a topic. Yeah, we told about that.
Everybody's journeys are different. Everybody's experiences are different. And where somebody is on that journey or what that experience has done to them also is very individual. Yes, we will have common themes. Yes, we will have common challenges. But at the same time, they're also very different because it's what somebody's capability of understanding what that process is. You can have somebody with exactly the same problem and it has to be handled in very different ways.
Okay, so no generality, only uniqueness, which is like, yeah.
Because it's like being on the journey of yoga. You know, many people have this thing that, oh, well, they're like this, so they should be here, or they're doing this, so they should be over there. No. Everybody is exactly where they need to be, doing exactly what they need to be doing.
Yeah, I agree.
And the journey to take somebody or to be that bridge for somebody to stand on, to feel a bit of safety and support so that they can progress in their lives it's not easy. You know, it is challenging because you can hear destruction. But at the same time, when we talk about that, the only way somebody is going to heal is when you challenge them to break what they're thinking.
Yeah.
So it's not just that Reiki that I do them in the soul healing. You know, I have different healing modalities that have come through me. I'm practiced in certain Kriya breathwork practices. I'm initiated into them. They're things that I would love to one day teach, but I've never been given the sign-off. So until I'm given the sign-off, I'm never going to go out there and teach it. I can talk about it, but I'm not going to teach it. You know, there's a respect that I have to have. And unfortunately, the depth of this journey of Kundalini, of yoga, of whatever way that you want to go through has to be the true path for you. And I don't mean be a yoga, goat yoga, sex yoga, or anything like this, because the truth of yoga is always there, and all of the yoga branches will take you to that same spot. But there is some that are deeper than others.
Yeah,
that's some that will take you quicker than others to where you need to be. But you have to be ready for them. You have to actually be ready to break, which is why they're difficult. And this is why people say Kundalini is dangerous, because actually they want this energy. They want all of these magic powers. And one thing that I will say is that you want all of these magic powers. As soon as that ego kicks in, the universe will take them from you. Secondly, if you want all of these magic powers, are you really prepared to see the destruction of human nature? Because it's dark.
Now, that's why I was asking the question of the dark night, because a lot of people are asking about that. Even if you think you're ready for sacrifice, it's like, you know you want to go, but you're like this. And I like when you said the door's open, but I had no fear to go there.
You make 1,000,001 excuses.
Yeah.
Because we're actually so afraid of being alone.
Yeah. And see ourselves, really.
But we're not prepared to look into our own realities. We're actually easy to put the blame on everybody else.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely.
And it's tough, you know, it's not an easy journey. And, you know, people say, well, there's so many different routes of yoga. There's so many different types of people. Not one path is going to be the same. When we truly look at Kriyas were hidden for such a long time because actually people don't have the discipline to do a Kriya. If I tell you the truth, you could be doing one boring Kriya for one whole year or 5 years, but yet we want a different Kriya every single day. Oh, well, I did that yesterday, or I did this today, because you're only looking for an experience. You're not actually looking for that
feeling inside.
You're not looking for that thing. You're looking for an experience. And you'll like this one day, you'll like that. This is why we have to give so many Kriyas. You know, it's because this is what the human want. Actually, you would give one Kriya at least minimum for 40, 50 days.
Yeah, that will be a real...
when I was first given my mantra and I was initiated into mantra, and I can't obviously say what mantras I've been initiated in. And so anyway, I was initiated into a mantra and I was given this mantra. And obviously as through progression and the journey, I've got to this mantra and I'm back into my practicing now and studies. And every time you go into studies, you get an initiation by that guru, that teacher, to give you the blessing, to be on that journey. And so anyway, there's me thinking, well, I'm learning this now. It's something that's always been there, and it was just waiting for the right time and the right guru to come along. That wasn't arty-farty and playing in the modern Western world, because I want to get to the roots of what this actually is. And the funniest thing was, so I'm thinking I'm going to get this really different mantra. You know what? The funniest thing was, it brought me back round full circle, back to my very first mantra.
Wow. I love that story.
So it actually brought me back round that actually the first and most important yogic practice that we do is inhale and exhale. We're coming in with one breath and we're going out with one breath. And it can be taken from us in any second.
Yeah, that's like kind of the meditation of everyday life. Like maybe also the cycle, life, death, life, death. You can see the whole world in one breath.
Life and death. It's there.
So we are going to go to the conclusion. Last question was about life, cycle, destruction, rebirth, all the season. What do you think about the different transformation of a woman's life? And do you feel you are going to experience more cycles?
I'm not concerned about experiencing anything. So for me, destruction is in every exhale I'm taking. And the cycle of my life is every time I'm here, I am breathing, that I am grateful for that I bring that awareness into how I am being. And how that is impacting somebody that is in front of me. So it cannot be about me. It has to be about them. And that is the destruction. That's the destruction. That is letting go of... if I tell you a story, when I was here and... my journey is my journey. I'm very honest. I tell people, well, I used to smoke so many cigarettes. I used to eat meat. I was born here. I drank. I went out partied. I've smoked weed. I've done a lot. I bought 400 pound shoes. I used to buy a flipping coat every winter, but it didn't matter to me. I did it because I could do it. But honest to God, they never mattered to me. If my friends would say, if I bought something today and my friend said, can I borrow that? I would never hesitate to let them borrow it. And if they destroyed it and tore it, even that wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, so you were not attached.
I was never attached to it. But I wanted to have it because it kind of fulfilled a different hole.
Yeah.
And we could be in these conversations for a long time.
I think you reached the point of knowing the nowness.
The real life is here. And don't get me wrong, now. The reason why I have to still be in practice is because life and Maya and this illusion is also there too. And every time I walk down the street, I have to take a step back. I have to understand, why did I do that? Because trust me, yogis and being positive all the time is not a good thing. Trust me. Yeah, sometimes I want to slap people, and
that's so cool that you're saying that.
And sometimes I swear, but never in public.
Easy to show the right example.
And my sister once said it, well, you're meant to be a yogi and you shouldn't be behaving like that. Honest to God, I could have slapped her. She made me so angry. But this is the thing. We can say in yoga, actually, I'm not feeling great and I need to take a step back. Being positive, you're actually lying also.
Yeah, sure.
Be positive, be good. But if you're not feeling that, don't make somebody else feel what you're feeling. So that means actually you can say, you know what? I need a bit of space.
Yeah.
I just need a bit of time. Why do we have to be horrible or negative or bad? Doesn't mean I'm going to be positive. It doesn't mean I'm walking around like a clown, smiling all the time.
No, it's like the principle of also, for me, non-violent communication. Is like, it's okay to say, okay, today really I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally, but I'm going to take space. But it's like, as you said, it needs a lot of personal understanding.
Absolutely.
And maybe also that real authenticity you told about is the challenge, because we can complain, but usually we lie to ourselves.
We do.
So much.
We do. And this is why the practice is so important for me. And I will continue to practice. And I will continue. And sometimes I procrastinate. Sometimes I need to speak. You know, I'm perimenopausal. Anything can happen at any time.
It's like for me.
You know,
that's a cycle.
It's a cycle.
Yeah.
It is. But at the same time, you know, it's everything is here. Your life is here. Your death is here. We all come into this world in the same way. We're all going to leave in exactly the same way. Nobody is going to leave by being in a spaceship and being taken up to space.
Yeah, totally. You can allow yourself to take space. You can allow yourself to be sad. You can allow yourself maybe a lot of things.
Absolutely.
But maybe not run away from responsibility and also authenticity. Anyway,
Absolutely.
that's the
You
part
can.
of yoga.
And you know, this is sometimes the sad thing, because people take small things, you know, and they think that they're already there, but yet they're not prepared to put the effort in, and it becomes about the money. And yes, yoga is a business. We've all got things to do. We've all got families to feed.
But as you said, it's like accept the Maya. For me, it's a big lesson of our conversation.
It is. We've got to accept it. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Maya is the creation. Maya is the creation of this. It's of you and me.
Yeah.
We have to accept it, but we have to know that actually, even if it's not there, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, we can love somebody and they're not right for us. But that doesn't mean we should hate them.
Yeah, sure. Totally.
You know, just because they're not giving you what you expect doesn't mean that they're meant to be there.
Yeah, sure. And like, if you begin by having maybe less expectation, is going to be better also.
And people are not taught that either. We're not taught how to breathe. We're not taught how to be the truth. We're taught actually how to manipulate. We're taught how to manipulate, because if the truth is actually shown out there, the world is going to go crazy. You know, you think of all the statistics out there in the world, they can be manipulated to show exactly what they need to show. And this is the challenge of yoga, huh?
Yeah.
The challenge of life. But once we start to learn what we're putting in to that mile, that's when the journey begins.
Yeah. Maybe a last question to finish, Haripriya. It's a funny one. It's a question I like to finish with. If your body and mind was a land, a country, or a landscape, what would it be? Maybe when you meditate or you connect with a place.
Interesting. What is it that I connect with is space? Interesting. I don't connect with a place. When I was growing up, I never had idols, not even pop idols that I used to put on the walls as posters. I used to think people are really weird. Like, why are they being so obsessed with, like, don't get me wrong, I love music, you know, Kylie Minogue, Jason Donovan, New Kids on the Block. I loved my R&B and hip hop and, you know, my trance dance music. I was very eclectic, but I would not think, oh my God, wow, you know, that I have to be in this concert and giving my life to somebody.
Not about idols. Yes.
I could never understand it.
It's about space. I love your answer. It's like,
I don't connect to, like, I've got to be a mountain today, or tomorrow I'm going to connect with a tree, or this is what I'm connecting with, or I'm a road. I don't connect with any of it. You know, when people say, and I'll tell you how I answer this question for you. You know, when people say make a wish.
yeah.
Like, many people have many things that they wish for. Shall I tell you something? I've never ever in my life known what to wish for.
Yeah. Maybe you prefer to.
I just used to say, no, I never knew what it was to wish for something. I never would say, I wish for this, or I wish for this. I just used to say, I don't know what to wish for. Just make sure everybody's okay. And that's it. That would be my wish. Right. It would never be like, I've got to have a Barbie doll, or I've got to have a teddy bear, or I've got to have this car. You know, it's...
So maybe your place of resourcing is like helping others.
No, that's what I just do here on this physical day.
Okay, but
My place of resourcing is my breath.
Okay.
So when I know I'm inhaling and I know I'm exhaling and I know my mantra is with me and I sit in that space with my mantra, there I'm resourcing.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Haripriya.
Thank you so much,
for all this content.
Pour retrouver toutes les informations utiles sur notre invité du jour, je vous invite à consulter la description de cet épisode et bien sûr leur compte Instagram. À bientôt!